before we had a framework for dealing with change, it was a lot of fear. But when we put in EOS, like that entrepreneurial operating system stuff, that was what helped us frame like what the next 3 months are going to be dealing with. So because we know what's coming up these 3 months, we understand like the pressures that are happening on us now.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. This is Jody Grundon. I'm guest hosting today for Tom Waddleton. My co-partner in crime, Adam Hale, is over here on the left. Adam, say hello.
Hey everybody.
That was not hello, that was hey everybody. And then I've got special guest, Chad Davis. Chad is a long-term friend of mine and Adam's, and we've known each other for a long time. He runs two different organizations. One, a really solid accounting firm in Canada, in which he is one of the very first pioneers of the virtual CFO space. So super excited about that. And then Chad's newest venture, Automation Town, and we're going to hear a little bit about that as well today. So welcome to the show, Chad. Can you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Am I allowed to say hey everybody or hello?
You can say whatever you would like, Chad.
Apparently you have to say hello.
Okay. Well, hello, hey everybody. It's nice to see everybody. The first correction, of course, as you do, you have to insult the host within the first 30 seconds. Otherwise, it's not a great interview. So we never really got into the VCFO stuff very much. And in fact, the thing that hurt us the most, I think, over the course of the last 13 years was the exact opposite of what made you two really special, which was the VCFO space. So what we were finding is we would not have such an amazing system like you did, like you two pioneered, that the CPAs would just grab so much experience and then go start their own firms. And like we weren't great at keeping people very much. So what happened was we ended up cutting the CFO service from the firm. And when we did that, it was incredible because now all the CPAs that are working there, they know exactly what the role is. It's not as bespoke as what you've kind of created and like have those super deep relationships on a CFO level. We got to create those on the recurring, repeatable controllership level work. And that was what we kind of got our reputation around, was just being reliable, getting stuff done on time, and using a tech stack that, while it evolves over time, there was always an appetite for improvement. So we kind of limited it there. And that's where we put a lot of the effort, was in those repeatable processes, which you did so well by making CFO repeatable. So I've always looked up to both of you for that sort of weekly cadence schedule that you guys created so many years ago. And I think it really set the standard and the stage for what a good VCFO firm is. So congrats on that.
Well, I thought something else that was really cool about what you did and your journey and how you learned is, don't you have like a magic number in terms of headcount that you kind of work off of? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Yeah,
the magic number is not like, it's 60 people. And we were 120 people plus in 2022. And I mean, it's easy to grow when you don't focus on the right things. And what we thought we were focusing on was our employee experience and our customer experience. And we neglected the thing that keeps the whole engine running, which is profit.
Oh, you need one of those.
You need that.
I knew we were not, but I thought we were forgetting something, Jody. That's what it was.
So I remember my business partner Josh and I, who is, and Jody, you've met Josh, and when we were together in 2022. It was actually coming off of that Expensify event over in Italy, and we were going through some really rough stuff. And when we did, we realized we had to change something. So in the car ride from the Expensify event back to Rome, we ended up coming up with this idea of the right size of the firm, the concept of a new pricing model called budgeted hours, kind of getting away from value pricing, getting away from fixed fee, stuff like that. And well, we still do fixed fee, I'll put it there, but the way we were framing it is through this lens of budgeted hours. And we're like, geez, it's crazy what happens when you go through really hard stuff. You find out really what's important to you. And for us, stability was the most important thing. So at 60 people, we were able to have enough middle management for there to be opportunities. We had enough people to help people take a lot of vacation and a lot of time off and whatever they needed to do to get their lives in order. And we could focus on that sort of split between people really enjoying their life outside of work and also enjoying it at work. And we kind of modeled just like you would do, like every 5 or 10 people down and every 5 or 10 people up. And we realized that over 60, between 60 and 80 people, our sales engine would just have to be crazy to deal with the amount of churn that's happening in the industry right now, and just kind of keeping the lights on as costs get higher. But 10 to 20 people less than 60, which is still a great number. Don't get me wrong, if you're a 40-person firm, but there's a little stress there in the middle management area. And maybe you want to do more, but you can't because everybody's tied up doing things. So we just found that 60 was that perfect number for us. And we have no plans of going higher or lower, because when we sell something to somebody, that time is now budgeted to them and no one else is going to infringe on it. And they don't have to pay for any inefficiencies of us hiring new people and going through that sort of treadmill of growth. And like, it's just stable. So we've had a couple of years of some really stable operations, and it's been really enjoyable.
How's that been on the turnover side, both on the customer side, I guess? Have you noticed higher retention there, and then same way with the team, or what's been the impact?
Probably what you can imagine. It's the team. I mean, we're going through a really interesting time. It's not 2020 anymore, where you could leave a job and get 50 grand at the next person down the road. Right. I think the economy has taken a pretty hard time, both in Canada and the US, around job security now. So that has to play into why there's such a low churn for that. So we can't be that naive. But at the same time, churn's a weird number, but like, of the 60 people, I bet you there's been 2 to 3 people that leave voluntarily a year. And that's way lower than it ever has been before. Yeah, and on the customer side, it's high. It feels like it's an industry issue right now.
Really? Yeah, with ours, we've noticed a lot of the employee churn is really limited as well. I think we've probably, and I could probably say the same thing, of the 60 people we have on the team, I'd say maybe 2 or 3. I can't even think of really 2 or 3. I can think of one. I don't know if I can think of 2 or 3. So yeah, a real low turn there. Client wise, we're seeing it's kind of up and down, because we've seen, I think last year our churn was about 6 or 7%, which to us was where we really wanted to be. This year we're seeing a little bit more. I'd say last year, meaning the last 12 months. I'd say right now, currently, based on what we know is going to happen over the next 3 or 4 months, we've seen a little bit uptick in there. A lot of it's due to basically clients selling, merging in with a bigger company, that type of thing, versus churn due to anything really that we've done on our end. Are you seeing the same thing, same type of churn where they're kind of consolidating and moving away, or are you seeing your churn based on cash flow and that sort of thing?
We just recently started tracking this in way more detail to be able to answer that. But anecdotally, about 80% of the people that have left is due to them selling or going out of business.
Yeah.
And it's the reality right now, right? There's no unlimited money. It's coming back, but it's really put a lot of stress for a lot of companies. So even helping them through that whole process on the tax side it's still money, but it eventually goes away, and you just want to be sympathetic to what they're going through. In terms of percentages, I would love 6 or 7% churn. For the last 2 years, I think we've budgeted right around 18 to 20%.
Oh wow!
Which is detrimental. It is horrible. But there's a lot of opportunity to take from the things that aren't working, where people have full-time employees, and then turn those into like working with us. Because for Canadians, like, we want to be the full-time, we want to be a full finance team for less than the price of a full-time hire. And like, that's not the CFO, but it's everything up to controller. On that front though, it's really cool because it has opened up more opportunity for us to say no to CFO, because now we have all of the CFOs in Canada who are anxious about giving work to firms like us, because everybody's moving into advisory and CFO work, and that's their goal. We're like, nope.
Yeah.
we want to be that team underneath you, so you can have those hard conversations like Adam, Jody, and his team do.
No, it's really, I mean, and that's crazy, the amount of turnover there, but I think that you probably discovered something. I mean, picking up new clients is by far the hardest thing to do, right? Not just from a sales perspective, but just in onboarding, getting to know the client. So you've probably been able to offset a little bit of that pain by at least keeping the team constant, so then, you're just refilling that little bit of a bucket, as opposed to trying to manage that turnover while you're doing the growth. I can imagine that would have been pretty volatile at 120 people, just constantly chasing that, going uphill like that would have been tough.
I'll tell you, the one thing that has been stable is not having to chase so many new customers, is making sure that we have the renewals going through every month, and not just doing it once a year. So every month there's new renewals going through, and there's always increases. So for years we didn't do that. And then after 2022, we realized like that is the engine that keeps.
What do you mean by that?
Control a lot of costs. So existing clients who are on your plans after 12 months, what we do is 2 months before the renewal date.
Oh, okay. Renewing their current existing plan. Gotcha. Okay.
Exactly. Sorry if I sounded ridiculous there explaining it, but yeah.
That's okay. I get it.
And just for context, what is about your average size client? Because ours actually is reduced. I mean, we were going up to about $75,000-$80,000 a year. And I think we're right around 65,000, just because we're getting some smaller ones. So it kind of averages out. It's not that we still don't get the bigger ones. It's just
I've got a techie. That's really good. I think with the CFO work too, I would expect it to be that high. That's really good for you. Our dashboard says that our average times 12. So we're about 35,000 a year for the controllership and under, which is, bill pay, bookkeeping, controllership, some tax, right?
Is that Canadian or US?
Yeah, Canadian.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So like,
I was waiting for a Jody remark. Yeah,
I want to.
You just like went right at it. I was like, here it comes.
Sorry,
you couldn't do the math.
Canadian quality, US quality. What's the?
Are we talking about like Angus beef here? Are we talking about? I don't know.
Futures market.
We could turn this into a versus competition.
Now, so it sounds like it's very similar in pricing structure that we've got. Because if you're looking at a CFO package, paying $65,000, some of that most I'd say probably 50% of it now includes some sort of controller work inside of it. You're looking probably really close to the same
really close
fee structure, yeah, for sure. And with that, you're seeing a lot of turnover even with that. Then is your client base. What's your client base consist in revenue size? What kind of businesses are you going for?
It's not like you, where it's a little larger, but we're in American dollars.
Well, you can go Canadian. I'm cool with that.
You're making me do this.
The audience can do the math.
No, we're not. So about 1.1 to 1.2 million US.
Okay.
is the minimum customer we'd work with.
Okay.
So that's real similar. Yeah, real similar.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of the minimum. I mean, we always say 1 to 50 million, but the reality is the majority of our clients are between 5 and 15 is kind of what we're pushing nowadays. But
I mean, there's a really cool. I mean, there'll be some that are just cost centers, so revenue means nothing to them. Like we have one client who's building a hybrid electric jet fuel jet with Bombardier and all these other things. We're like, that's a cool client to have, and they're not going to be making money for 10 years. But those are great. But it's great where they can just have a nice solid controllership bookkeeping thing in order to make it work. So yeah, we have a lot of similarities between us for sure. How are things going over with Anders? What's working really well for you?
Well, a lot of things are working well. I mean, we'll tell you that the merger itself was super tough initially. we got through that. Just I think with any merger, you're going to have the bumps and bruises along the way. A lot of ghost stories out there and reasons why clients may have left at that point, thinking, "Hey, we're now a bigger company, so we're not going to take it." I don't know what the reasons were, but we got through all of that, and now things are going extremely well. We've gotten through the employees buying into our system. We've gotten the partner group buying into our program and how we do things, and I'm feeling really solid with the way that everything is now. And with our client base, I think Adam's done a phenomenal job making sure that everybody is in, getting the service level they need to have. We've got a great leadership team that's, they're all doing their job and doing it really well. It's one of those deals that, and I'm sure Chad, you can recognize this when you can leave for a month, a week, 2 weeks, and know that the house isn't going to burn down. I know that everybody's doing their job really, really well, and that they're probably doing their job better without you than they are with you in a lot of cases. And I think Adam's really done a phenomenal job with the team with that.
Yeah, I would say people have been terrific for sure.
I've got a bunch, we have a bunch of friends in the industry too, Jody, who who we know are thinking of selling. Mm-hmm. If you, I guess, were to talk directly to them, like the CFOs that have a team of 6 to 10 people, and they're just in that okay, now's the time. I know when I should sell. Because based off of what you went through, mm-hmm. what would be the biggest piece of advice you'd give to them today in 2025?
Yeah, I would say, having the, always looking for what do you want to do? Do you want to hand the book of business off and then leave in the sunset, right away? Is it something that you want to be part of a bigger team and grow with that team? Really deciding what your motivation is as a business. What do you want to do with your life? Is this the end? Or is this just kind of the beginning of the next chapter, type of a thing? And once you've kind of made up your mind with that, then you've got to look at everything in those lenses. So if it's, I'm going to end, then let's build this thing, get this thing so profitable, and then sell it, and then walk away and and then be happy with that. And know that, hey, they may take that thing and change it completely and destroy everything that you did, and that's okay. Or hey, is it hey, I want to be with a bigger group because there's a lot more availability, a lot more opportunity for my team, for me as an individual. If that's the case, then then you need to kind of look at that as the motivation. So hey, I need to build this, but I also need to figure out how I can get the team involved and really scale up the team and really scale up the clients and that sort of thing. So I guess it's really having the end in mind. Adam, I'd like to hear your opinion on that one.
Yeah, I think that's important for anybody. That's the same advice that I give all small business owners whenever they're ready to walk. What is going to be your level of involvement going forward? Are you going to be a CFO? Do you just want to take all the admin, practice management stuff, take some chips off the table, kind of a thing? That's going to really depend on where you land as well. So whether you want to go to a small firm or a large firm, it's going to be pretty important. For us, probably one of the biggest things that I didn't really see coming was the firm that we merged in with, Anders, already had kind of a small accounting team already. And I think that whenever you look at the surface level, it's like, well, you're working with the same clients, you're working with the same technology, you're kind of doing the same thing. But the way we approached the work was a little bit different. And that ended up becoming probably our most difficult thing. So really just kind of lean into how you serve your client as well. Everybody treats their team well or feels like they treat their team well and their clients well, those kind of things. But I would probably coast alongside somebody if I was going to join an existing practice for a little bit, just to make sure that it blends in well. We kind of jumped right in at the very beginning, just kind of went full bore at it, just thinking that it was going to be easier than what it was. And it was a little more difficult. At some point you got to rip the Band-Aid off anyway. So I don't know that it would have been any better had we sat side by side with them for 6 months. But if I was to do it again, I probably would have at least coasted for 3 to 6 months, a little bit longer than what we did.
I think it's really good advice, because I asked our buddy Matthew May what he would do too. Mm-hmm. And he said the same thing as both of you, which is be very clear and upfront with your intentions.
Yep.
Jody, that's exactly what you said. He's like, even though they're going through a buying spur, are you guys buying right now too?
We're always looking to buy, but not not
Yeah.
active,
Not like him, not like
not like him. Yeah.
that's not part of the business plan.
But he
It's
was
just
like, the best people that we talk to are the ones that can say, I want out or I want in. And it's when you straddle, it makes it really, really tough to understand what you're going to do.
Yeah, for sure. Because you went through that initially too, didn't you? When you're going through, hey, what do we want to do with this? I know when we talked
Yeah.
Italy,
Yeah. Because
it was like you were.
we're like, we're this is going because it's going not so well. And, yeah, it's a blessing in disguise because now we've got this thing that is working and really enjoy like working with the team, and like the stress levels are just so much lower versus way back then. And yeah, like it's off the table. Like we have zero interest in selling. Like if there's negative interest, that would be us. we just really, really like what we have going on right now.
I got,
well,
go ahead.
It sounds like it's feeding the new project that you have going on as well. So are you able to kind of, is that almost in like maintenance mode for the most part, and you're able to kind of shift your focus and build in a different direction? Or
no, I'm still in charge. I won't say in charge, but I'm responsible for all the new sales that come in to LiveCA. So with that, like that's what I spend all my day doing. So outside of that, Automation Town is this sort of side project where a bunch of accountants just get together and kind of geek out on what's happening in the industry in a little bit of a safe space. Because it is nice to talk on LinkedIn and to do that kind of stuff as well. But when you know you can do it privately away from your team, maybe, and like really have those like conversations and see what other people are doing without like the whole internet watching you, it is kind of nice. So I enjoy that, and it's probably if I could spend more time on it, I absolutely would. But I think bringing in other people that are just as passionate about the new stuff that's happening in the industry, like giving them a place to kind of run with, is pretty cool. Like we have a memory session on like how to make your AI not be so forgetful coming up in like a week with another guy who's like really into this kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that we're doing there. But at the same time, like I think every single firm owner feels a little bit of FOMO with this stuff. Oh, sure. And they probably should be doing 5 or 6 other things before investing in a whole bunch of tech and like AI hype and all this kind of stuff. So I don't recommend starting with this, but if you've created a priority for this in your whatever, in your list of things to do, then it's a cool place to go. But I wouldn't start there and think that that's the silver bullet, because like, there's pricing issues, there's staffing issues, comp issues, service delivery issues, sales issues, marketing issues, client list issues. Like those things all really should be looked at first before you do anything with this kind of fringe AI automation stuff.
Whoa. You mean you haven't built an agent to solve all those problems for us yet? What have you been doing with Automation Town?
being real with it. Yeah. It feels like I don't know about you, but it feels like every week there's a new company coming out saying they're automating the month-end close. And
yes.
And like there will be a time when that's like super great. But then you read the fine print, like, we hope to automate 20%. We hope to automate 50%. You're like, cool, like that's good. But I think that's where the sensationalist is coming in, which is like it's trying to set like unrealistic expectations for accountants that it really is just push button. I don't know about the US, but in Canada, it's really hard to deal with disparate data and with conflicting priorities of leadership. And what they really should be focusing on is just getting the data, and doing a really great job of having stuff in a timely manner is still like the raw world we live in.
Yeah. I was expecting blockchain to come and solve all our problems years ago, where we didn't have to worry about organization and all that kind of stuff, real-time closes, and that kind of disappeared.
You know what? I'll give you a good example. Like on Friday, so we're recording this on a Tuesday. On Friday, I just had enough with my current sales process. So I was like, I'm always going back into Carbon. I'm always talking to my business partner about who to follow up on. I'm always like trying to figure this out. Why don't we just build a tool? So fast forward, spend some time on the weekend, and now we have a fully functioning web app that goes into Carbon, grabs all of the sales data, allows me and him to prioritize follow-ups and get like create notes and do all that kind of stuff. It's almost like a HubSpot or a Pipedrive for Carbon data. And we get, all the to-dos, all the schedules, all the audit logs, so we can see who's doing what between each other. And like in total, I don't know, 10 hours of development. But now, like, I moved my entire to-do list over there. I put all my ideas for LinkedIn videos and for things to do inside Automation Town. Like my whole brain is in there now, and it's only been 4 or 5 days. Like, I think that's the unlock that I'm hoping to help with Automation Town, is like, there actually is some pretty cool use cases you can do today that isn't like agents taking over the world, but just taking over the crap you don't want to do anymore.
So kind of stuff.
Well, I don't want to do month-end close anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to do month-end close. So how do you get into that though? I mean, for somebody that doesn't have a ton of experience with the AI world, how do you jump in and figure out, hey, how do I create something that's going to solve my sales process or processes issue that I might have?
I'll give you a good example. My business partner, Josh, keep saying his name, Josh Flag. He loves coaching. And I think in 2022, I don't know if he brought this up when we met over in Italy there, but he was like, that was the start of an introspective change in his life where he could divert almost all of his attention to internal coaching inside of the company. So fast forward to today, and last time we met up, I sat with him for 5 hours, maybe 6 hours. And I taught him how to use Lovable, which is a vibe coding tool that he then turned into his check-ins for his coaching. So now people will do their check-ins on his app, and then it's all organized just in a way that used to be done through emails. And now the next part of the build, which is kind of cool, is like before submitting the check-in, he'll have an AI model with a lot of his feedback and the way that he thinks, look at that check-in and challenge people before they press the submit button. And all it took was 5 hours of intense questions and answers and experimentation and a lot of curiosity on his end to get it going. So I don't want to discount the buddy system because it really does do a lot better when you're with somebody that has a little bit of experience. It accelerates it. And that's what I'm kind of hoping to do with Automation Town, is just accelerate that, because information is free. Like, you can go grab it on any AI chatbot, any LLM, any YouTube video, any post on LinkedIn. Like, there's free information everywhere. But it's really hard to just find accountants doing stuff for accountants. And there's a couple communities out there doing great jobs in that. But I wanted this one to just be the AI and automation stuff. So it was like super, super focused.
So Chad, if you weren't part of the organization, so you're stepping aside, you won the lottery, no longer part of it, would your company dive into this? Or do you have individuals in your company that are super curious that would be, hey, I definitely I can do what you're doing? Or would it just kind of revolt back to where it was prior to the AI movement that you pushed through?
I'm not 100% sure I get the question, but you're saying, like, if I wasn't in LiveCA, would the team members still feel as interested in tech?
Yeah. Would they jump in and be you? Or do you have, how do you get people to jump in to be you? Or are you just you?
No, I think that's the problem a lot of early companies have, is that the whole company is revolved around like the interests of the owners. Like, that's great for a while, but I'm not saying you shouldn't have influence over your company as you get bigger. I'm saying we've adapted. Like, we have this thing called the Strategic Projects and Operations team. And like, that's the new version of the tech team. And that's the new version of the innovation team. Like, that has happened all throughout our time. And like, they have very clear mandates, and they have schedules, and they have documentation and all the stuff that, like, Jody, you and I probably suck at. Adam's probably really good at it. But like, that is the evolution of a good company. So I wouldn't want them to be like me, like all over the place and disorganized. Well, since Friday, I'm now organized. But like, you want it to evolve into what it should be. And I think that's the answer to your question is, yeah, no, they won't be me. They'll be the version of the company that they are now. And because it's an important position, if anything happened and those people didn't want to do that work, then we would evaluate if that was the right direction for the company. But I'm excited of where it is now, because we do have 3 full-time people that are thinking about this for the team. And I just get to filter crazy stuff through Josh.
Yeah, no, it's a great place to be. I mean, is there anything that you're super excited about on the tech side? It sounds like for the most part, you're leveraging the practice management side of things. And frankly, that's probably where I've seen the most value too. Every time I get into the delivery side, I'm usually quickly disappointed. Like you said, it's a lot of marketing hype, and then you start looking at it. And my team, frankly, has come back and said, on our side, just, hey, it's taking me more time than less time, to implement these tools. So is there anything you're super stoked about, or anything you're watching closely?
I think every company is at a different stage, right? So I think most people want to buy a really good tool. So the tools that are getting some traction now are the document request and organizing tools and some extraction tools, but those are still a little bit not as great as they could be right now. So it'll just be a matter of time. For me personally, looking internally and like fixing your own house is the opportunity for a lot of firms. So for me, we ended up we've never used a proposal tool, but we've built our own. So like right now we have, on a sales intake perspective, like hundreds of data points per entity. And then that will craft pricing. And then that will craft the presentation for the client on the call. And then that will craft the proposal. And then that will craft the billing and the automatic invoicing. And a lot of people use Anchor, Ignition, Nula, Socket, like you name it, all these tools, which are great and people should use them. But I needed an incredibly custom tool for years, and a lot of them didn't have APIs. Now Anchor does have an API, which is really cool, and they're marketing it to the public. So if we had our crazy, hundreds of data points per entity, and we needed that to somehow go somewhere or make it into a proposal, we could do it through Anchor. But for us, it was just super easy to use our Google environment and then use Google Apps Script to generate all the documents, all the proposals, all the scripts to go in and create things inside of Xero and inside of our own databases. So I'm just excited that for us, we've been able to take all these things that just were disparate and had different clunkiness to them. And in the Google environment, we've been able to kind of stitch them all together into something that works. And on the flip side, that also empowers a lot of the team members to do really cool stuff inside of Google Sheets, connecting systems, doing automatic Stripe reconciliations without needing like a Chargebee or a Rechargely or just something like that, or a Zuora. It just empowers payroll reconciliations. Like they can do this themselves using scripts, and like our team is able to help and support that. So that's what I'm really, really hyped up on.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's probably where we're seeing most of our gains. Jody, I think you were on an email the other day as well. We saw one. I know you're not really doing the CFO side of things, but we saw one where there's an agent that basically can be your CFO. You can ask it any question. It can pull up any report, connects to all your CRMs and stuff like that. Where do you see, do you have any concerns with where your value proposition is in the space? Like right now, I know you're saying you've got a little bit of a competitive advantage because those CFOs are outsourcing to you right now. But with like this emerging tech, it does seem like it's going direct to consumer kind of a thing. Do you any kind of concerns there in the immediate future, or anything that you're doing to kind of prep the team for just embracing that or leveraging it?
You see what E&Y did? They have this thing called Now 2.0 or something, and you essentially can put in your job description, the work you're doing now, the role you have, what you're working on, like that kind of stuff, and then it'll tell you how it's impacting your job down the road with disruption.
Okay.
And that's like the super transparent, being like, okay, your job's at risk if things happen.
Wow.
I don't know exactly how to feel. I don't know if there's a rule, but I know as humans we tend to just underestimate the short term and like overestimate the long term. And we always focus too much down the road of like this crazy world where we have nothing and like the jobs change. I don't know. My job's changed in 10 years. Like I like what I'm doing now. I hope that there's change. I thrive on it. I don't want the same thing for 10 years. I really hope that the crap that we deal with is solved so we can have more enjoyable work lives. Like we're not typewriting anymore. We're not like floppy disking it anymore. Like that's okay. Like if you ask those people, like what happens if you couldn't use your floppy disks? I don't know. Like they'd probably be pretty mad. I think perspective is really important, but I'm not like running towards the hills being like screaming that we're all screwed. It's more like, okay, let's breathe. And I think before we had a framework for dealing with change, it was a lot of fear. But when we put in EOS, like that entrepreneurial operating system stuff, that was what helped us frame like what the next 3 months are going to be dealing with. So because we know what's coming up these 3 months, and we'll have that discussion in January again about the next 3 months, and we'll just keep going that way. We understand like the pressures that are happening on us now and like if it's a priority or not, if we can be punted down for something halfway through the year. But like we're definitely not living 2 or 3 years in the future. We're living 1 year at a time, hitting that goal and being as best as showing up as best as we can for our clients and for our team members. And if some magical thing happens where it does work and there's a lot of stuff automated, all it just means is we're going to figure out a way to help customers navigate to that. And like in Canada, we have a little bit of a weird situation where like coding through the bank is also requiring sales tax inputs. So like a lot of receipts, you need a lot of receipts for transactions. You need context. You need to make sure you've got your foreign currency dealt with right. So like it's a little harder of a lift than for just like the American, like throw it through the bank statement and go through it.
Right.
But I don't know. It's a long-winded answer to say I'm excited for the future. And if I was an accountant and I knew this was coming, I probably would skill up in terms of understanding how this stuff works and just not ignoring it because it will affect your job somehow. I just don't know exactly how.
100% agree with you. I mean, people ask that question a lot, and you hear people answering the question many different ways. I'm the same way. I mean, change is great. I embrace change. Not all accountants would agree with me. You know, a lot of accountants think change is horrible in any way, shape, or form, and they're grudgingly moving forward with it. But I think for those that are going to really succeed at what they're doing now, at what the professions are looking toward, I think the more you've got to be able to accept that. And I agree with the fact that jumping ahead too far is probably, I don't think anybody's mind can really take it. What's the Earth going to look like 100 years from now? I have no idea. Why do I care? Well, I might still be alive. Who knows with technology? There may be a way that, now people can live forever. Who knows? I mean, that could be something, who really knows? I mean, can we fly in 5, 10, 15 years without the use of an airplane? I don't know. Not going to worry about it. Same thing with this. It's like, it's one of those things you've got to keep in mind what and keep yourself grounded. Hey, the change is going to happen. It's going to impact everybody. As it did when everybody used to do everything by hand. When it comes to before the calculator was invented, there was a lot of people employed at banks that just simply did all the shorthand. And that's what they did. They just did formulas all day long. And now that, that's obviously not the case with a simple computer. And so what's tomorrow going to look like? Who knows? But I like your attitude that, hey, let's take it 3 months at a time. Let's keep the 1 year, 12-month running always in the horizon to make, so you can make changes. And as they come, just be on the forefront of it and embrace those and not discount them. I think if you discount change too much, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. And I think you really need to embrace it, look forward to it. And hey, how can we make the most of it? How can we help our clients with the new change? Is it going to be that, accounting is kind of the thing of the past and it's all advisory going forward? Who knows? Maybe that's the new change, or maybe it's not that simple. Maybe it's something completely different. Maybe it's a completely different way of looking at it altogether. Whereas right now we're closing books and doing that. Maybe that's not even part of the future going forward. Who knows? So I think that's, you just kind of have to embrace whatever does happen, and really figure out how you can make the most of it, and better everybody in the process, your team, clients, everyone.
Nah, we're all screwed. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I think it's from my perspective, same thing. I mean, I'm open to, I'm hoping there's a lot of change, because I don't want to do a lot of the stuff that we're currently doing. So I think that's not where probably my stressor is less about like whether we're going to exist or what we're going to look like in 5 or 10 years. That doesn't bother me at all. It's more of like, I feel like we're almost at this like I'm going to date myself here a little bit, beta VHS moment. Like, I don't know, Chad, if you had that in Canada, where it's like, hey, here's the emerging technology. Do you go left or you go right? And, my neighbor, I remember growing up, was like all in on beta, bought like a bunch. They were like these like 40-pound tapes back in the day. Now, of course, we're like 5 technologies beyond that now. So it's probably even just a bad analogy all on its own. But it does feel like there's this race to hurry up and implement more than there has been in the past. Like, you got to like try to pick something and just jump on it, especially since it's competing against offshoring. So are you currently doing any offshore work, Chad, like on your team, or is everybody?
Now, if you go to the front of our website, it says in as clear words as it can right below the fold, it says 100% Canadian, like 0% outsourcing. And that's been our stance for a while now. We tried it, really screwed things up, and lots of regrets there. But we are now very clear. So every single person with us is full-time. They're working in Canada. I mean, there's a few part-time people, but like that's worked out really well for messaging. And it's kind of interesting because I'm not against outsourcing for other people, but it's just like at your own house. Like, you wouldn't eat certain foods, or you wouldn't drive a certain car, or you wouldn't go to a certain grocery store or something. Like, you don't judge other people for doing something that you wouldn't do. It's just the way they live. And like, I think a firm can operate in 100 different permutations, and it's like totally fine. But for us, when we made this decision, the conversations really started to change with our customers, because they're like, oh, we've been to these firms and they outsourced everything and it didn't work. And like, I just want to talk to somebody. And like you probably can find a great outsourcing firm where you can talk to somebody. It's not the outsourcing that's the problem, but then in their mind, they think it is. Mm-hmm. So like, framing is a real issue. But I think with this technology and with AI, it's giving the outsource team a little bit of a superpower now and letting them do better work. So we're probably going to see like all ships rise with the tide. Mm-hmm. And I don't think one model's better or worse than the other, but you should be able to talk about like why you operate in a certain way and give clients the, I won't say illusion, but like the feeling of confidence that you've got your stuff in a row and like you can deliver on time and with great quality. And as long as you can do that, like, great. There's no right or wrong.
Mm-hmm. 100% agree. Hey, I know we're kind of wrapping up, or we're getting close to time here, Adam. I know what we've always done in the past is kind of throw a fun fact out there, and just kind of curious. Do you have with the holidays coming up here? Let's kind of gear it towards there. Sporting events in the holidays. I'll start with you, Adam. What's your big sporting event for the holidays that your family? It's kind of a tradition, if you've got one that you've always watched on TV or went in person or did anything like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the easy answer is always football, but for me, it got kind of terrible there for a long time. As a kid, I just always, and I don't like the Detroit Lions at all, but it was always like Barry Sanders was Thursdays, right? Like, that was the only thing you really wanted to watch on. You just watched to see him run for years. And so that was probably, a little bit of football, but I'll take it back into not just like a sporting event. I mean, it's a sporting event in my house, but we play a couple board games and Thanksgiving,
We
and
still
they
have board games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They can become contact sports for sure. So it just depends on who's playing and how it's going. So yeah, we've got a few board games that get everybody riled up, get the blood pressure going, get the competitive spirit going. So
tell me a board game that's exciting for your family.
Well, the one that any age could play, which and would still kind of irritate people, whether you were 80 or 8, is Aggravation. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that game before. It's like a marble game, and you just kind of roll a dice and you like knock each other out. It's kind of like croquet on a board game, but we played it in our family since I was a little kid. And like I said, it doesn't matter. You could teach a 6-year-old to do it or an 80-year-old, and everybody gets equally ticked off as they play. So it's fun.
How about you, Chad?
Well, we've lived in the RV ever since 2018, and
because you're not making any money, profits. Is that what we're talking about?
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly it. But this is the very first year that we have not spent it in the U.S. and.
Oh.
So we parked the RV in our driveway in Nova Scotia, and just pieced out to Spain for a little bit. So this background is in an apartment in southern Spain, and that's like whatever, 6 o'clock here now. I don't know what time it is there. Noon. Yep. So we'll be spending Christmas here, and it'll be our first time learning the new traditions and seeing what everything's there. So if anybody is from Spain or knows some cool stuff to do during the Christmas holidays here, let me know.
Wow. So Spain. So you went from traveling the United States with your RV to now we're on a plane. I assume you didn't take the RV to Spain. So
did not, but we did take the dogs. Kids are here. Come here, Charlie. Say hi.
Hi.
There we go.
The dog. Wow, Charlie.
We'll bring the dogs over. The dogs are sleeping. It's really weird. We grew up the last 8 years we've been in 330 square feet for all of us. Every Christmas has been on a beach somewhere in the U.S. and it's just been fun. But this will be our first time with a real tree, and
you're still married. It's impressive.
Dude, I think if you ever are wondering if like your partner is the right partner for you, go on a road trip, do RVing. If you can make it through that, like you are soulmates.
No, that's awesome, Chad. That's pretty cool. So with me kind of wrapping things up with me, a lot of mine have always dealt with the kids, as the kids are growing up, and Adam's experiencing this full bore. Seems like they're in every sport in the world, and every sport for some reason travels, and for every sport they want to play on all the holidays. And seems like that's been the tradition forever. And with I can remember going to Chicago 3 years in a row, and that's where we had Thanksgiving at an ESPN zone. We way back when they used to have those. That's where our Thanksgiving meals were, and then and the funny thing is, then you go to Christmas and you'd find that one kid's in Ohio playing whatever sport, and the other kids in California playing the same sport, and so a lot of times we're divided, amongst each other, and with all the different activities. Now with the kids, I've got one in Florida with me. That's where I live. And then I've got one in California right now going to med school, and we're going to be apart for the most part. So it's going to be kind of a bummer in that regard. But in the same aspect, we always go back to watching sports now that we the kids aren't actually participating in it. And I'd say with Adam the same thing. It's basketball and football, and really whatever the game is going on. And I think with Adam and I both, it's kind of fun this year. It's really fun because both Hoosier graduates, our Indiana Hoosiers are doing extremely well in college football. Both of us have opposite ends on the field on the NFL. Adam's Chicago Bears are doing extremely well. Colts are doing extremely well. And, the Pacers last year made it to the finals. They did really well. The Fever, the same thing. And, now I live here in Florida. The Florida Panthers, they won the Stanley Cup last couple of years in a row. And so it's been a really fun time just being involved in all the different sports, but more so with the kids, even though they can't make it to the games, with the kids kind of in spirit in regard to, hey, we all know we're going to be watching the same day and all doing the same type of thing, whether we're in person or afar. And so that's been a great thing for us. Chad, it's been great talking with you, man. It's been, getting to know you over the last several years has been great, and going to all the different events, the accounting events, and listening to you talk about AI and watching your computer crash in the middle of the event all the time. Phenomenally great and exciting. But on a serious note, there, I really appreciate what you've done for the industry, and just being a role model has been great. Over the years, being one of the first firms to dive into the virtual space, way back when, 10, 15 years ago. And now, again, being a leader in there and deciding to the point where, hey, growth is great. But, we don't want growth anymore. We want stability, and we want to make sure that, we enjoy what we're doing, and you found the perfect spot to do that. And my hats are off to you for that, for sure. Adam, any closing comments?
I'll jump in first and just say, I know we touched on it really quickly in the beginning, but I think what you and Adam and the team have done, both with your prior company and with Anders, you can't ignore the impact that has had on probably hundreds or thousands of CFOs that didn't know how to operate a virtual CFO practice. And you were always so open with your playbook, with these podcasts. Like at one time you had 4 podcasts going? More? I don't know.
Yep.
And it was always like in the spirit of helping people. I never told you this, but I listened to a lot of those early episodes, and I would try to steal all the little nuggets. Remember when you used to talk about, okay, week 1, we talk about this. Week 2, we talk about this. And then you'd leave us on a cliffhanger and have to come back to another episode. It's like, damn you. But it was really, I really appreciated it. And it gave us a lot to think about. And it probably gave a ton of other accountants to think about. So again, thank you for what you did to the industry, because it's definitely made an impact.
Well, thanks, Chad. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, you guys nailed it. I mean, and looking forward to, you doing the same on the automation town. I mean, it's really exciting what you're doing, and would just love to see more content and see what you're kind of doing with that stuff as well, because I think that's going to be huge for kind of the next step for all of us. So thanks again for that.
Yeah, and Chad,
I should put up more LinkedIn videos. That's definitely what people are asking for.
Oh, LinkedIn videos. That's a great idea.
I wonder if I should do some of those.
So, hey, Chad, how can people get a hold of you if they want to reach out and tap your brain for any reason at all? Like, they might want to tap.
Honestly, LinkedIn is the best way. And if you do get annoyed at all the daily videos, just say not interested, and it just never shows them up again. I've got great friends that say it's too much, dude. Just I have to say no. But I've done 200 of these daily videos now, maybe more. And
no, they're great.
Yeah, that's the best way to get in touch. And I've met so many cool people just from that video stuff. So feel free to reach out. And Chad Davis, and it's the guy in Canada with the beard.
No, it's a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.